Salutations, my name is Tiffany. This is the Eclectic Fangirl, and today is Movies Monday. So today's story. Nope. We're gonna try that again. So, first off, I'd like to apologize because I did not post yesterday, and honestly, I'm probably not gonna post on Sundays anymore because I need the day of rest, as do all people. And I sometimes forget that, and I get all overexcited and all of this stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be able to do it every day, and it's gonna be great. No, it doesn't happen. I need to sleep. Just it is what happens. I need to sleep and be able to do other things, like clean up my room or do the dishes or whatever. So I may have to readapt how often I post and all that fun stuff. At this point in time, though, we're gonna try and keep going for every day except for Sundays. Um, anyway, so on to so today's movie is Monday, and today we're going to be talking about one of my absolute favorite movies on the planet, and a little bit of an essay or information on me and who I am. So I believe that stories and the art of storytelling is one of the most important things on the planet. And are the stories that we love and the stories that we identify with and the audiences that we share these stories with are some of the things that form who we are. Jesus used stories to teach, and I think that that's fairly informative of how important stories are. It was one of his primary teaching methods was telling a story. So stories, and again, the audiences that we share them with as well, kind of helps form and make us who we are. So that's kind of why I started this channel. Anyway, this is a movie that has formed who I am, and I started watching it when I was very, very young, possibly not yet out of the womb. I'm not even sure. I don't know. Um, no. Yeah, no, whatever. Either way, my dad likes to tell the story of him coming home and his three children quoting this movie with the sound off, and all of us making, like, each doing our own voice or doing the voice for a character and not missing anything. And that movie is the cult classic, The Princess Bride. It's one of my favorite movies, easily probably in the top two of movies that I've seen the most times. I've seen it multiple times, even in theaters, which I was not old enough to see it in theater when it first came out. So I've gone to go find all the like midnight showings and the street food cinemas and gone to go see it in different locations. And yeah, I've seen it everywhere that I possibly can, even in theaters. It's a great movie. Anyway, so here's some of the reasons why it's a great movie. Is one, it's a great book adaptation. They actually got the writer of the book, William Goldman, and it says S. Morgenstern, but it's actually William Goldman. It's fun. Read the book and you'll find out. He actually wrote the screenplay along with having written the book. And obviously he did a great job. So honestly, even some of the dialogue is the same in the book as it is in the movie. Like, and having read it later in life, after I actually learned how to read, and learned that there was a book based on this, or a book that the movie was based on. I read it, and there's certain things that the character Physics says that I was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that that's what that line was. Had no clue. And if you don't know, Andre the Giant played Physics, and he has a fairly strong accent. And at one point in time, he's fighting, and it's very hard to understand what he's saying. So yeah, so that was real fun, having gotten to discover that. But it's got very much the same tone and the same thing. So even though like some things are kept out, the thing in the whole stays the same. It stays very true to the book, which is really hard to do because lots of them don't. So anyway, it's a great adaptation. So number two, sword fights. I love sword fights. Probably partially due to this movie. Not partially. A lot due to this movie. So honestly, even Star Wars, when they have the lightsaber fights, I'm still like, oh, it's like swords but with lasers, which honestly kind of makes it more fun. A little bit. Either way, I love sword fights, and so I really like this movie because it's set in a medieval setting, but it's not fantasy, and it's not set in a specific time. It just also has swords. The tagline of the book is even a tale of true love and high adventure, and I really, really like that because I really, really like adventure stories. because I think that they're fun. And it really annoys me. No, we're gonna not go into that because it really annoys me when people attempt to make adventure movies into action movies. They're not the same thing. Not the same thing. Don't try and make an adventure an epic. It's not the same thing. Anyway, gonna get off that. Um, so it's not actually a fairy tale, but it kind of feels like a fairy tale, and it's very adventure. And it's got literally everything that you would want in a movie. It's funny. It has romance. It obviously it has action because it's got sword fights. It's got really great characters. It's got a really good storyline, and it's just a really really good movie, and it holds up really really well. So it's still a classic now. If you've never seen it, I'm so sorry. Um, be in the right mood for it. I don't, obviously, you don't necessarily know what that is, but it's fun and it doesn't take itself too seriously, which is, again, another thing that's great about it. Because I don't like things that take themselves too seriously. Clearly. Anyway, so it's fun, it's great. It's got super gorgeous scenery. It was filmed in Northern Ireland and England. Um, and those are two very, very pretty places. I've actually been to Northern Ireland. I don't know if we actually made it all the way to everywhere that it was. Anyway, goal in life is to do at some point in time actually get to do like a Princess Bride tour over in Northern Ireland and England. And I've not done it yet because I've not had someone to go with me who's quite as obsessed as the Princess Bride, and it just feels like a waste to do by myself. But at some point in time, I will. It's going to happen. And yeah, so it's got gorgeous scenery. It's it's a fantastic movie. It's got all the elements that you could possibly want, and it's super super quotable. I'm gonna not quote anything right now because if you've not seen it, then I don't want to ruin things for you. And if you have seen it, you already know them, and honestly, you don't need me to quote them because I can't do Vicini better than Wallace Shawn can. Um, you just can't. And honestly, I want them to make a musical out of this or like do some form of remake. And at the same time, I'm like, please don't hurt my baby. Whatever. Anyway, so this is one of my favorite movies. At some point in time, I would really like to do a commentary somehow and post it on YouTube. I have no idea how I would do that, but I'm going to figure it out at some point. And it will be rife with all of the trivia that I know, because I know a lot of trivia about this movie. I've read multiple books on the movie. I've read the actual book that the movie is based on, and yeah, so it's one of the best movies that there is. It kind of helped make me who I am. So if you want to get to know me better, watch this movie and tell me what your favorite movie is. And I think that that's a really cool thing to know about yourself, even. Anyway, so this has been Movies Monday. I am Tiffany, and this is the Eclectic Fangirl. Peace out, peeps!